Welcome guys, so this will be my 13th new Capenna quick draft. Let's just get started, get right into it. Okie doke, we have quite a good rare here, Cabaretti Ascendency. I am building my collection here, so I am rare drafting. I do happen to have 4 copies of this, so we don't have to pick it. We can have a look at these. I never used Public Enemy. I don't trust it because it's one of those cards that's not good when you're behind. But it's one of those that can break a stalemate. Now Maestro's Charm, I think, is pretty good. So that's 5 damage to a creature or planeswalker for 3 mana. That's really good. Or you can dig 5 cards deep. In fact, it's self-mill. You look 5 cards deep, you take one of the cards, the other 4 go into the graveyard. That can help us self-mill deck quite a lot. Mr. Orfeo the Boulder. He's okay. He's not worth picking over Cabaretti Ascendency, I would say. Any amazing commons here? Got a 5 damage removal, but obviously that's not as good as Maestro's Charm. This is a bit harder to cast, to be fair. We've got a couple of these sort of mana fixing dudes. Right, so I'd say it's between Maestro's Charm and Cabaretti Ascendency. We'll talk about the Ascendancy. So at the beginning of your upkeep, you look at the top card of your library. If it's a creature or planeswalker card, you may reveal it and put it into your hand. If you don't put it into your hand, you can put it on the bottom of your library. So it's either just a one-way Howling Mine, you're drawing an extra card every turn. If it's not a creature or planeswalker, you're scrying to the bottom. So you're maybe improving your draw step. So I think this is really fantastic. And Maestro's Charm is just, an efficient removal spell. It's got a couple of pretty good modes. The 3-point drain life mode is kind of that's the one you're less likely to use. If it's their last 3 life points, you can do that. I think we go Cabaretti Ascendancy here. I think it's pretty straightforward. Card advantage every turn. Seems good. One thing I'll say about this: you want a deck that's got creatures and planeswalkers. You probably usually the what's recommended is you go for 17 creatures in your 40 card deck. We could even go a little bit above that, I would say. So I would usually just grab this, call it a professional, because it's removal, does 3 damage, and it actually kills shield creatures because it can't. You can't prevent damage. In fact, it says in brackets, shield counters don't prevent this damage. That's usually going to be the best card in the pack, but we've got Cabaretti Ascendancy. Maybe we want a creature. So we'll have a look through these creatures and see if there's anything amazing. We've got the Venom Connoisseur. It's a 2-drop. It's a decent 2-drop. It's a decent Grizzly Bear. It can get Death Touch if a creature enters the battlefield under your control. So usually, almost all the time, this has only got Death Touch on your turn. I kind of prefer my Death Touches to have Death Touch on my opponent's turn so I can trade off with a big creature. There are some instant speed creatures. I think Cabaretti Charm is instant speed, I think, which can make 2 creatures. And of course there's the 1 green and 2 spell, which digs 5 cards deep for a creature card but also makes a 1/1 citizen, and that's instant speed. So that combos well with a Venom Connoisseur. But basically, this is a card that goes well with other non-creature cards because to get instant speed death touch on this. So it might not be the best choice for a Cabaretti Ascendency deck. Still, it's good. Right, usually Echo Inspector would be quite good, but we don't want to go into a 4th colour. 3/4 flying is just pretty solid. Down here we have Jetmir's Fixer. It's a good 2-drop. And we've got the Rakish Revelers. Bit of mana fixing. These are quite good, but I don't know if we take these at pick 2, to be honest. I think I reckon it's between Jetmir's Fixer and the Call in a Professional, and we hope that the Rakish Revelers will probably wheel around. They might do. Maybe the Venom Connoisseur. So I think, yeah, we will take this Call in a Professional, even though it's not a creature. That could be maybe this will be our 1 removal spell. Okay, we've got Illuminator Virtuoso. Now, is this a creature card you play with Cabaretti Ascendency? Because we're not playing that many spells. Maybe we still play that. Something that goes quite well with Combat Tricks. So Raffine's Guidance could go well there. Raffine's Informant. Decent creature. Sort of basically draw and discard. That's what Connive means. Can become a 3/2. I've actually very rarely played with this card for some reason, but I do see it on my opponent's team a lot of the time. Ready to Rumble, 5 mana. Damage spell. This is the kind of removal spell we probably won't bother using in a Cabaretti Ascendancy deck. What we do quite like in Cabaretti Ascendancy are things like High-Rise Swordjack that can block flyers. If we're running a bit less removal, we want more reach creatures, more ways of dealing with flyers. But I can't quite get over this Illuminator Virtuoso. There's an argument that it's just good. It's it's going to do 2 damage if it gets through. And my opponent's probably going to blow it up. It's a 2 mana creature my opponent's going to be terrified of, and they're going to blow it up. And it's 1 point of first strike. There are a few 1 toughness creatures that people play. Riveteer's Requisitioner, for example, 3/1. So I favour the High-Rise Swordjack, but I'm going to hope, fingers crossed, this is still here at pick 11, and maybe Raffine's Informant, maybe the Racer's Ring. We'll take the Virtuoso. We'll see how it goes. I don't think I've played with this guy before. Okay, I am going to take the Structural Assault. So I think this will be my 4th copy. I won't have to pick these anymore. Obviously this is just because I'm building my collection. That goes in the sideboard. Oh, we have a nice one. We have now. Yesterday was my Rocco deck. I managed to get 3 Roccos, so that was kind of ridiculous. There's nothing else amazing. There's another High-Rise Swordjack, but I'm going to take the Rocco. Warm Welcome is the card that can give you an instant citizen. So this goes well with the Venom Connoisseur, but often this gets cut when I'm playing Cabaretti Ascendency in the deck because it's not a creature card. So yeah, go for the Rocco. That's pretty easy. Refuse to Yield is slightly better because we've got an Illuminator Virtuoso in the deck. Broker's Initiate, solid creature card. Celebrity Fencer is going to be quite good when we've got loads of creatures in the deck because we're playing Ascendancy. Mayhem Patrol, though, is cheap and aggressive. And a 2-drop. And it can pump my Virtuoso. Yes, I think it has to be Mayhem Patrol here. Right, we're just going to ignore blue and black pretty much here. Plasma Jockey is good. It's can blitz it for 3 mana and stop something blocking. So this is effectively like well, it's a blocker removal card. Let's put it like that. So you kind of want as many creatures that remove blockers as you can fit in your deck. If we're just running a bit less removal. Civic Garden and Halo Scarab are the 2-drop options, but I'm not blown away by either of those cards. I've seen Civic Garden do some impressive things, but it's got to be Plasma Jockey, I think. Unlucky Witness. So this is going to be good with casualty cards. I don't think we play this. Raffine's Guidance is good with Virtuoso. But let's get a Wrecking Crew. So this is another answer to Flyers. Or maybe my first answer to Flyers, now I think of it. Ready to Rumble, Paragon of Modernity. It's been a long time since I picked a Paragon of Modernity, because it's a 2/2 flyer for 4 mana, which is a little bit weak. But it is an answer to Flyers. And we want to play more creatures rather than removal spells, so maybe it's better than Ready to Rumble in a Cabaretti Ascendency deck. Yeah, we might play Paragon of Modernity. I don't know. Let's grab the Ready to Rumble. We can probably play about 3 removal spells. There's probably room. Boon of Safety, Raffine's Guidance, Sticky Fingers. What's the best one with Virtuoso? I kind of like the Sticky Fingers. Give it Menace. It's making me treasures. Safety can protect it. Raffine can pump it up and can replay this later. I'll get the Sticky Fingers. We might not play that card. Cool. We have a high-rise Swordjack that made it round. That's definitely a priority here. Very red so far, the deck. No, this is an interesting choice. We like both of these reach creatures. We've already got 1 Wrecking Crew. I think we want the second Swordjack before we get a second Wrecking Crew. How about a third Swordjack? Sounds good to me. Refuse to Yield. Went all the way around. That's good with the Virtuoso. Oh, that's nice. That is my first Angel of Suffering. We are grabbing that for the collection. In it goes. Right. Now, here's a good example here. Stimulus Package. Probably a card we don't play. It's usually good in Cabaretti, but because it's the Ascendancy deck, that's a non-creature card, and it's less good. So it's we probably prefer the Swooping Protector here, and that's another answer to Flyers. Other things here are looking quite good. Exhibition Magician, another Mayhem Patrol is very good. But I think I like the Swooping Protector here, because we are going to try and answer enemy Flyers with creatures, if possible. Brawlers. Decent 5-drop can give you lifelink. Can help you race your opponent. Only when it attacks, though. Not something I pick very often. I don't. Again, it's been a while since I actually played this card, but it can be very rough when you're on the receiving end. I seem to remember this is. Yeah, I remember being up against. They had a Death Toucher and this, so they could give their Death Toucher first strike. So that was pretty brutal. Dapper Shieldmate's got a shield, which is nice. We have Riveteer's Initiate, so that's a Death Toucher. Another Swordjack. Do we want to get Swordjack number 4? Maybe we consider the Ballroom Brawlers here. Well, based on everything I've said so far, I think we need those answers to flyers. I think we get High Rise Swordjack number 4, to be honest with you. Though the Riveteer's Initiate is an answer to big creatures on the ground, which is potentially another problem we could fix. I think maybe 4th Swordjack and then hope this wheels around. Okay, another Plasma Jockey. Jetmir's Fixer. We're quite heavy on red and green. I could see myself dropping the cheap white cards, because it's maybe not a Virtuoso deck here. I'll go for the 2-drop. I think we want a Jetmir's Fixer. We might get some treasures in the deck. For example, we've got Curious Briefcase here. It is not a creature card though, so I think we skip it. There's a prize fight which makes a treasure, but I think we'll keep going for creatures. I see another Jetmir's Fixer, but we could start picking mana fixing lands. I feel a bit happy with 2 fixes though. Cabaretti Initiate, I very rarely pick. Maybe Dapper Shieldmate is what we go for here. Another Jetmir's Fixer, definitely. Stimulus Package. Right, so it's looking like we might not go for cheap white creatures, so I think I like Skycrow, but I think we skip it here. Rox Pummeler could be a big creature. Social Climber gives us a little bit of life gain. We're doing quite well on 3-drops, because we've got the 4 Swordjacks. I think we can take a Rox Pummeler here. I think Rakish Reveler's good here. Shieldmate, and then another Pummeler. Now we definitely need some mana fixing. Right, Xander's Lounge. I happen to have 4 copies of this. I'm just going to check my notes and double check that. Xander's Lounge, yeah. Right. We can skip the Xander's Lounge. Now we're looking to sort of improve the deck, so we might say, yeah, we're going red, green, and splashing white, so drop the Virtuoso and the Refuse to Yield. I think I'm not a fan of Cabaretti Initiate, so I'll drop that. Suppose we've got 4/4 drops, that's probably about right. But we could, I'm thinking drop it. I can drop a Dapper Shield Mate. Quite top heavy. We can drop. Don't think we need 2 Rocks Pummelers. Right. Knockout Blow. It's quite good, but it's removal. I think I like actually the Caldaya Strong Arm. That seems good. That's a 5-drop. Hey, Arcane Bombardment. Yeah, we've got there is a Strangle here, but I'm picking this for the collection. There it goes. Right, we have a Cabaretti Charm. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Do we pick it with Cabaretti Ascendency, or can we go for an all creatures deck? The creature to pick would be Jetmir's Fixer here, getting 4 of them. Could be quite aggressive. Yeah, I'm going to go for the 4th Jetmir's Fixer here. We've got a game plan. Let's stick to it. Let's keep getting the good creatures. Let's get the 5th High-Rise Swordjack. Freelance Muscle's a good creature. But there's Botanical Plaza, Ominous Parcel. So, tough choice here. We don't have much mana fixing. Or any mana fixing. Feels greedy going for the Freelance Muscle, to be honest with you, but I'm going to grab it. Right, let's grab a Mayhem Patrol. I'm looking for these more mana fixing cards, well, the first mana fixing card. I mean, this makes a treasure. It's not a creature. Okay, this thing is a creature that can make things unblockable. Let's grab that. Bit of it's definitely something. 7 2-drops. We could get a Civic Gardener. Probably got too many 5-drops. I don't think there's room for a Wrecking Crew, especially when we've got 5 High-Rise Swordjacks. So I think we'll grab a Civic Gardener here. There's not much here, I think. Put that in there. Right, I don't think we're going to do. I have been actually Glittering Stockpile is really good with Jetmir's Fixer because it can just pump my creatures. I'm gonna grab that. I don't think there's any universe where we'd play 3 Rocks Pummelers. It's a nice idea. I did lose once against a deck that played 3 Rocks Pummelers against me. Okay, we have an Ominous Parcel. We have mana fixing. lots of Cabaretti initiates going around as well. Right, 47 cards. So, wow, look at the split of lands it gives me. 5 planes. Are you sure about that? We definitely want to keep Rocco and Rakish Revelers. Let's see. I'm going to see if I can get away with not playing any non-creature spells. Apart from Cabaretti Ascendency. Glittering Stockpile's pretty interesting. Calling a professional feels tough to drop that, but we might rethink this at some point. Keep it ominous parcel. I think probably just dropping the excess white cards makes sense here. We don't want too many white cards. It's gone for the classic 7, 7, and 3. So we've definitely got problems with our mana. We might need sticky fingers just to make treasures, just to fix our mana situation. I did try playing Suspicious Bookcase, and I never actually made anything unblockable with it. It just might not be particularly viable. I think let's go and cut it. Got 7 2-drop creatures. Can we get away with the Glittering Stockpile? It's more ramp than mana fixing. It doesn't. Unfortunately, it taps just for red mana. We have an X spell that could be useful. I think maybe we'll drop Glittering Stockpile. Maybe Sticky Fingers is the treasure generation thing to pump my fixers. Right, so we've ended up with 20 creatures. It's a pretty healthy number. We've got Sticky Fingers, Ominous Parcel, bit of mana fixing. Ominous Parcel can double as removal. And the Ascendancy is the third non-creature spell, and the rest of it's just creatures. So we can stop flyers with the High-Rise Swordjack. Hopefully. And the Wrecking Crew. So got 6 reach creatures. Something tells me I think we go down to 1 plains. Play 8 forests, 8 mountains. We've got Revelers as mana fixing, and we've got Ominous Parcel and Sticky Fingers. So it's like having 4 white sources. I'll be the first to admit, it's a bit iffy. But at least Rakish Revelers can fix for itself. Then we're just worrying about Ascendancy and Rocco. Exhibition Magician is another treasure thing. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Effectively 5 white sources. Maybe that will be okay, but I think the tough decision late on in the draft, we had a choice between Freelance Muscle and the white green land. And I wanted the Freelance Muscle because he's pretty ridiculously good. Anyway, I think I'll call that end of part 1, and I'll mull this over a little bit. Thanks for watching so far. And I'm back. Right, so I have decided to call in a professional. I think this is a little bit too good to leave out. So we're at 19 creatures now. I am going to run Suspicious Bookcase. I just think I need some kind of card to push the last few points of damage, something to give me a breakthrough later in the game. It didn't work last time I used it, but I'm going to give it another shot. So I think it's worth it, because we're not that heavy on removal. We're not going to sort of blow up all of my opponent's creatures to get through. So we need some other strategy, I think. And the fact that this is a creature is very helpful because of Cabaretti Ascendency. I can still draw this off the top, so that's quite good. I think we need the Ominous Parcel and the Sticky Fingers to just fix our mana. I think the Call in a Professional is going to be very good against shield creatures. And the rest of it is all creatures, so the tough decision was really in the 5-drop slot. We've got 3 5-drops still. I've ended up dropping Wrecking Crew, because I think our 5 high-rise Swordjacks kind of cover the skies quite well. I think we need Rakish Revelers first of all as a bit of extra mana fixing, so those are untouchable. The Freelance Muscle is the biggest blocker I can muster, and he goes well with Suspicious Bookcase. He could, that could be, because that will pump him up to 8/8, and he could be unblockable. That could be the last chunk of damage I need. And the Chaldea Strongarm, I think I like this lady, because she's quite flexible, and you can put those counters wherever you need them. Maybe it's on a creature with Menace, maybe it's on a high-rise Swordjack, whatever makes sense. You can blitz this out for 4 mana as well, so if you just need to draw a card. So this is I like the flexibility of this card. I think that puts it ahead of Wrecking Crew. That's my reasoning. None of the Rocks Pummelers have made it in. I was thinking about Ready to Rumble, but I decided that's not as good as a 5-drop creature probably in a Cabaretti Ascendency deck. And I was thinking about the stockpile, because it works. It actually pumps up Jetmir's Fixer when you just add the red mana, because it's it's mana from a treasure source. It's a nice combo, but I've done that combo. This is not the right deck, because it's an Ascendancy deck. So this would be sort of devoting a card to ramping out my top end cards, and maybe it's a luxury I can't afford. So. Whereas I think the rest of the cards are just better justified in the deck. So, tricky thing might be just getting white mana, but yeah, I mentioned we've got the Revelers, the Magician, Ominous Parcel, Sticky Finger. So we've got 4 sort of sources of treasure or mana fixing. So 5 white sources in total, which I hope, fingers crossed, that's enough. Let's just give it a go, I think. And if there's one change I might make, it's probably I'll end up putting the 5 damage, the 5 mana removal in Ready to Rumble, just because it'll be that one creature I couldn't deal with, and I'm going to think that I need that. So we're low on removal, we could be vulnerable to something like security bypass, where you just have to kill it with a removal spell, or it's just going to run away with the game. Okay, I'm going first. I can't cast anything in my hand because I've got 2 mountains. I'm going to call this a mulligan. I mean, I'm just 1 forest away from being able to cast absolutely everything. We can't take that risk. It's practically given me the same hand again. We do have Rakish Revelers to actually mana fix and help us, but it's quite an investment of tempo. Let's see, Rocco, probably not that good this game. Not going to help me survive. Right, how about Mayhem Patrol to begin with? Actually get... Oh, with Blitz to draw an extra card? Yeah, we need an extra card. We'll feel bad if he's got absolutely nothing. Hey, we drew a forest, that's cool. Maybe a good decision. Jetmir's Fixer is pretty aggressive, let's do that. Cool, yeah. He's having to do a bit of mana fixing there with his mana, and he's got a high-rise Swordjack. Okay, we could blow that up, get in for 2 damage. Or we could just match him with my own Swordjack. This is obviously a broker deck, potentially using shield creatures, so I don't think it's worth using the removal spell to get him with 2 damage. That doesn't make too much sense. Okay, Illuminator Virtuoso. Right, if we play Suspicious Bookcase here, we've got a blocker. Let's go for that. We can keep up calling a professional mana. He's got this guy to make me block. Well, this guy to stop me blocking. Ballroom Brawlers. That's rough. So yeah, that's a 5-drop. He's got another 5-drop next turn. I think we will Rakish Revelers here. We have another Jetmir's Fixer. Let's go for it. So this can give First Strike to one of his dudes, or lifelink. Okay, that's pretty strong. So he's gonna blitz that out and pump up the Virtuoso. Okay, so this is where we simply call in a profession, or do we? It's only got 3 toughness. He might be able to give it +2/+2, right? Unless, well, For the Family might give +4/+4. It might be getting lifelink from Ballroom Brawlers as well. I'm going to call in a professional in response. And he won't gain any life this turn. He might have For the Family. He has For the Family. He has exactly For the Family. Oh god. Sure. Why not have For the Family? Okay, So this is 16 damage. We lose something. I think this is quite a useful blocker. Let's take out the decoy like that with one jet miss fixer. This guy's quite a useful blocker. Let's do that. Looks like we're going to lose something to the Virtuoso. He's got white. He might have a flyer at a later date. I think we'll just lose our jet miss fixer, I'm afraid. And we'll stop 2 damage from that swordjack. I was thinking, for the family, now that gives +4/+4, doesn't it, under certain circumstances, and he had exactly the right circumstances for it, unfortunately. So yeah, we've got an absolutely terrifying Virtuoso to deal with, and we're basically going to lose a creature every turn to that. But let's go with Rakish Revelers. Do we hold the land? Yeah, let's hold the land. Let's not attack, and let's end the turn. Now, one of these can't block. Suspicious bookcase. What's the Brawler's going to do? So I've got to block the decoy. So stuff is going to die. Stuff is going to have to die here. That is getting first strike. Fair enough. The Revelers. Oh, that gets first strike as well. Right. It's not. They both get ridiculous things. Of course they do. And that's also got first strike. So he's managed to get 3 guys with first strike. How fun. But I do have to block this one. So I can take 11 damage, I guess. And yeah, I'll take 11 damage, whatever. There you go. Well, for the family, that can just win you games, it turns out. We tried. Jet miss fixer. Something has to just keep chump blocking the Virtuoso, unfortunately. Equip for 2, and it's 1 white mana to, I see, make that a 3/4, make that a bit more awkward to deal with, sure enough. That's getting first strike as well, oh good. That's got first strike, that's got first strike. This is fun. So, bookcase. I guess. We could block where we can trade off and stop 4 damage. And then Jet Miss Fixer just dies, unfortunately. Don't have the mana to pump him up enough. It's pretty insane at the moment. I guess, yeah, Fixer can chump block there. We've got 6 damage going through. Actually, you chump block there, because maybe we can pump up the Fixer. And I haven't mentioned, yeah, this is a diamond player. I managed to beat a diamond player yesterday. Now he's got his blue mana. And yeah, he can use white mana to blow up my bookcase with the crowbar next turn. So it's not looking too good for me at the moment. Play this guy, and I think I'm dead. Good game. Maybe this is why if you see an Illuminator Virtuoso and he's tapped out, you just kill it if you have a removal spell. Yes, there's another Adjudicator, so yeah, something else gets to not block. So that would jump in the way of that. No, okay, we've got to block that with something. That's going to jump in the way of that, and we'll just see how much damage we end up taking. And then with 4 more to follow, -6. Well, yeah, that was the for the family heard around the world. He had 5 creatures, so he had enough to give the give +4/+4 to the Virtuoso. Brutal. Right, on to the next one. I'm not going to put Ready to Rumble in the deck just yet. I don't think that would have stopped that onslaught particularly. Well, you know, killing the 4/4 Virtuoso might do something. Okay, so now here we've got Cabaretti Ascendency. We'd quite like a white source of mana. This is one of the problems we have with the deck. We're very unlikely to play Ascendancy on turn 3, but okie doke. So we could get closer to playing our white source by just blitzing out Mayhem Patrol right now. Or we could play Civic Gardener. If we top deck a 2-drop, I believe we can double spell next turn. That might be quite good. Okay, Rafine's Informant. Plasma Jockey. Okay, so not a 2-drop, unfortunately. We could get 5 damage in here if we wanted. We could blitz out Mayhem Patrol if we want. Yeah, okay, let's do that. Let's blitz out the Mayhem Patrol. We're trying to get to a... Okay. We're trying to get to a white source of mana, so I think it makes sense to blitz these things out. Yeah, we don't have a follow-up, but never mind. Okay, he didn't do anything. Right, so 3 drop plus 2 drop is a possibility here. We want to tap out, I think. I'm going to play Saw Jack. Or do we want to play Bookcase? Let's play a Bookcase. And then a Civic Gardener swings in, untaps a mountain. He's out of there. Okay. Play a mountain, and we'll play the high-rise Saw Jack. Exotic pets. Nice. And one of them's 2/2. So that's a clock, that fish. Fish o'clock. We could call in a professional on that fish. And then swing in. Because that's 3 damage a turn he's going to be doing. We could Plasma Jockey and make the informant unable to block. Yeah, I guess this is part of our game plan. We're blitzing to draw cards to try and find white mana source. That can't block. We draw the other white card in the deck that isn't a mana fixing card. But that's okay. Ooh, Elegant Entourage is good. But we're drawing a 5th land. That's good for us. So Saw Jack, Orkable, and a professional. Let's try a Saw Jack. So yeah, we've hit the white mana problem. We've only got the 5 white sources. Oh, that's terrifying. That's unbelievably horrendous. So this does pump something other than the Entourage. That's the only positive. So the informant can get through for a lot of damage. But we've got a double block here and take 7, I think. Take out the Entourage. Bookcase is going to do nothing. Bookcase is a future blocker for the a chomp blocker for the freelancer. Hey, we actually hit white mana. Okay. This feels terrible. But okay, so Bookcase chump blocks here. High-rise Sawjack trades here. We take 3. I'm gonna Magician for a treasure so I can play Ascendancy when I really need to either call in a professional or fish. Never mind. Let's see if this ascendancy might draw me an extra card. We'll see. I might be dead this turn. We'll see. Another big creature, okay. When this blocks, it's a 10. I mean, when it gets blocked or attacks, it's a 10/10. So bookcase just jumps in the way. I take 3. And we have a big chance for Cabaretti Ascendency. It's, yeah, okay, we'll scry a land to the bottom and try and draw something. We drew a creature. 2 mana creature. Quite handy. And then we can still call in a professional on the Rocks Pummeler. But then we're going to take 3 damage from those. The point, though, is this is getting through with 3 damage. It's just as bad as the fish, in a way. I give him a very simple turn, but yeah, we've got to call in a professional and kill the pummeler. Got no answer to the fish, unfortunately, but yeah, them's the breaks. So our deck is weak, definitely, against unblockable things. So the fish and security bypass, because we just don't have enough removal to kill them consistently. We are relying a bit on blockers. But he's just kind of had everything, really. So now he's got just everything he needs, unfortunately. So Magician, it's a favourable block there. Swordjack, just chomp blocks there. Undead, good game. So this might be the 0-3. This is what it's looking like. If I draw Cabaretti Ascendency, I don't get the white mana quickly enough. Then I'm probably in deep doo-doo. I blitzed out a couple of guys. So I blitzed out the 1/2 menace and the other guy who stops a creature from blocking. So if I played those guys normally, would that have helped me race? Maybe. But yeah, that's a problem built into the deck, is we're not very consistent in terms of mana. So yeah, and we managed to draw amazingly. We drew both of our white cards that don't fix for mana. Not that amazing, but wasn't ideal. Yeah, maybe Ascendancy. Yeah, well, I usually say play 2 colours and splash the 3rd, but maybe Ascendancy's only good if you play it on turn 3. Maybe you just need a really consistent mana base. Anyway, that's just, it's a card game. There's a lot of variance, and we had a bad one there. So yeah, 0-3 is what we're looking at here, I think. Jetmir's Fixer just not looking very good as well. Just quite mana intensive to make it work. We're not getting the best hands, I would say, as well. Love's giving me lots of mountains. But this is playable because we've got Magician to give me a treasure on turn 3. And then Sticky Fingers, maybe get through, get another treasure. Maybe that helps me fix my hand. Opponent's going first, so I'm getting another card to hopefully fix this mess. Yeah, there we go. Top deck of Forest. Perfect. That's good. Right. We're away. We've got a turn 2 fixer then. 2 planes. Interesting. Is he mana screwed? Probably not. He's got 2 mana up, so he's probably... yeah, he's Rakish Rev using that to fix it. We've got Revelers as well. Oh yeah, Jewel Thief. I missed out on these. I didn't get any Jewel Thieves this time. Okay, Sticky Fingers, in a way, is free. We'd put that on that guy, giving him Menace. This guy doesn't have Menace, he has Vigilance and Trample, so swing in with the Fixer, get a treasure. Play red mana. Exhibition Magician with a creature, and then I can trade with the Jewel Thief. I think that's what I go for. And it looks... oh, no, it's Cabaretti we're up against, so it's not Bant for a change. I think we double block, and if he's got a combat trick, we just take it on the chin. Okay, good trade. Okay, so that's at 4 mana. Now, there's an option here, blitzing out the Strong Arm, putting 2 tokens on the Fixer. But guess what? He's got mana up. I'm guessing he has Kill Shot. That would be... I'd be surprised if he doesn't have it. But let's just swing in. Kill Shot. There we go. Draw a card off the Sticky Fingers. That's not too bad. Okay, interesting situation. We actually just hit Ascendancy. So we want to... right, let me think. We can Ascendancy next turn. I think we can play a High-Rise Swordjack this turn. We'll have 5 mana next turn, so 2 to mana fix and 3 to cast the Ascendancy. He's got his Rakish Revelers there. So we're going to take 5 damage if we do this plan. He's got 3 cards left in hand. Oh wow, he's... yeah, oh no. Okay, yeah, that's what confused me. He does have an island, so he's 4 colours. So it's going to cost me 5 life points to play Ascendancy this turn. But I can't play Revelers. I could play... yeah, I could have a creature that can... I can make a creature that trades off with Revelers. Plasma Jockey trades off with Revelers. But he could have a removal card. Okay, let's do it. I'm going to pay 5 life effectively for my Cabaretti Ascendency, and I think it's going to be worth it. Chaldea Strong Arm, so it's even more. It's 8 damage. It cost me 8 life, so... yes, reveal, let's take that. That's a blocker. Okay. What can we do here? Well, we could play the Revelers. But you can see we spent tempo playing this. We sort of spent tempo on card advantage, and we're behind on the board significantly. And we're going to take even more damage now. So maybe that was greedy. Maybe you only play this once you're out of plays in your hand. So I could go for 2 creatures, but then we don't have an answer to the Rakish Revelers. Okay, we'll do my own Rakish Revelers too. It means we lose the access to white mana, which is not so good. 2 cards left. Does he have removal? Oh, he's got a Rocco himself, so he's done a 3-pointer. He's getting to get a removal spell. Nice. The old Rocco into Lagrella, so he's got removal. And he's going to actually take off the Chaldea, so he gets more value. Okay, so we'll block here. Double block. Take 3. Okay, that gets me 6 mana, which means I could do Plasma Jockey plus a 2-drop. Yeah. Let's draw that land. Plasma Jockey is going to be a blocker. This horrendously scary token. Suspicious Bookcase or the Fixer. If we do we want to trade off, or do we want to... I think let's go defensive. Let's have a Bookcase. But yeah, that's a particularly brutal combo. Rocco into Lagrella. That's why he's 4 colours. I guess we take out the 3/3, block the 3/1, take 2. See what happens. Cabaretti Charm, and are we dead? We're down to 2 life, and that survives, so it's a disaster. He just has all the cards. I don't know how we stop this. 2 high-rise Swordjacks. I think all my opponents have just had absolutely crushing rollouts. It's been unplayable. But we had the greedy turn. We thought I'm going to pay 5 life effectively for my Ascendancy, and it was completely it was totally a terrible idea. So because we just couldn't get a grasp on the board after that. Let's see. No, we're just totally dead on board. Okay, this is my 0/3. We will just do that. Okay. Bounces beat down, of course, so he has even more removal. Good game. Block the 3 damage and take a bunch. So we got to cast that Cabaretti Ascendency, but it was too large an investment in tempo. We didn't take 5 damage. We took 8 damage because he had Caldea Strong Arm the next turn. Maybe Cabaretti feels like Cabaretti Ascendancy is unplayable, but I think you play it after you've like played out all the creatures in your hand. He had such a good rollout. I don't know if I'd have survived, but I'd have maybe had an. I'd have bought myself an extra turn. But you saw at the end that he had even more removal. He had the beatdown card there. Yeah, so it seems sort of like a good deck, but it's got lots of 2-drops. It should be pretty consistently. It's got 8 2-drop creatures. Looks like 7 3-drop creatures. So it's got that good early rollout. What did we lose to? Well, we just lost to. He played, let's see, Rakish Revelers, Caldea Strongarm. He rockoed into a Ligrella to remove one of my blockers. He played Cabaretti Charm. I could have picked that up. I decided I wasn't playing non-creature spells because of the Ascendancy, and that was a huge blowout. That took out 2 of my creatures and took me down to 2 life. And he even had extra removal at the end as well. So maybe that feels like evidence that you can't just get away with playing a Cabaretti Ascendancy. It seemed absolutely suicidal when he had a 5/3 creature. So yeah, just play out your creatures and just do this when you don't have anything else left to do. So game 2, we drew Ascendancy, and then we played it right at the end because it took me until about turn 8 to get my white mana, and I was basically dead on board at that point. That guy, that was a Broker's deck which had a good rollout with the unblockable fish for 3 damage a turn, and then lots of other pressure. That deck had Freelance Muscle. And I got completely blown out by a combat trick in game 1. Actually, that was the for the family. He had 1 green mana up. He was using Caldea Strongarm to boost an Illuminator Virtuoso. So it's quite funny how I've run into all the cards that I've drafted that just ended up in better combinations. So this is getting to 3/3. Calling the Professional seemed sensible. He had 1 green mana up, and sure enough, he did for the family for +4/+4. I knew it was +2/+2 at least, but he had 5 creatures at that stage, so that was game 1. So yeah, that was quite a rough one, but I have tried this idea before when I've got Ascendancy of playing a lot of creatures, and it's done all right before. We didn't run into loads of flyers, which I was well set up for the small flyers deck. I wasn't, and I'm back. Sorry about that. Yeah, just my computer decided to shut down. So I think I covered that pretty much. We kind of I lost to a combat trick in game 1. I lost to evasion creatures in game 2, and just they had a stronger rollout, and I didn't have. I was searching for white mana for my Cabaretti Ascendancy all game, which is a problem with the deck. That is a weakness of the deck. And then game 3 we saw I had the mana fixing for Cabaret Ascendancy on turn 5, so it was sort of spend 2 mana from the Revelers and then play it, but it was too greedy. My opponent had a Revelers out. I was going to take 5 damage, so it was I was sort of thinking, finally I can play a relatively early ascendancy. It's worth paying 5 life for this, but it turned out in the long run it was not worth it. It got more cards in my hand, but if you can't play out all the cards quickly enough, your opponent just beats you on tempo, and that was the situation. And he had two pretty crushing plays. He had a Rocco for a Legrella, so that's took one of my took care of my Rakish Revelers. He also tucked away his Caldea Strongarm so it could give out more counters, and then the Cabaretti Charm to give everything +1/+1 was crushing, and that took out 2 of my guys. So yeah, a bit of greed on my part, and a bit of more combat tricks, and just a better rollout, sort of better tempo play from my opponent in that game. So challenging opponents, gotta say that was very tough this time around. We have made it to platinum, so this is what we should be expecting, I suppose. Anyway, I'm surprised it's taken till this far to end up with a 0-3. So that's good news in a way. It's taken a little while. There we go. We get our 50 gems. And yeah, I think that is a video. Thanks for watching.